We're back. We have a guest tonight too, but we're back. A special guest at that. Someone who's been here quite a few times. Wasn't here. Been busy. We've been busy, 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 busy. He's been busy. We've been trying to connect, and we finally connected. And we're here tonight, though, people, for Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust, which came out in 2000. As you know, we did Vampire Hunter D a couple weeks ago. So let's dive into this. And how's it going, everybody?
Greetings and salutations, y'all.
Yes. James, how's it going? What's new?
Doing all right, man.
About you, Jason?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm sure your faithful viewers haven't seen me for a while. It's been a long time. Glad to be back here again. You guys, I guess, watched the prequel to this, or the first film of this several weeks back, you said. So you stuck me right in the middle of some sequel that I had no idea what was going on, so I greatly appreciate it. It was a good time, though. I had a good time. And, I have several notes here that are going to make your audience. The first thing I wrote about this movie was I feel like I'm in season 7, episode 12 of a series. So it's going to be a long review. But,
it does.
I was confused, but you and I have been playing internet tag for about 15 years here, trying to get together. So it's really good to jump back. Staying busy, and although the film made me feel like I was on acid, I'm excited to share my acid with you guys tonight.
Hell yeah! How about you, Trevor? How's it going, man? How you doing?
Things are going great. Thank you, as always, having me. And this actually was really a treat. I will agree with a lot of the internet that this is a superior film to the first Vampire Hunter D. Mm-hmm. So thank you for having us watch it.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, listen, we got to thank the wheel. All I did was put the movie on the wheel, but the wheel was just like, listen, this is what's being picked tonight. I'm so happy. You know what I got to say, though, is I'm so happy, which I would have spun it again or just picked the first one, that it did pick the first one first, when we did the first one. And that didn't pick the sequel first, because we've had that happen where it's like, no, that's how we're not starting it like this, guys. It's just on here, but that's not how we're starting it. But yeah, it was definitely a fun one. I'm glad I watched it, and it's really, really, really pushing me to like, listen, 30. You need to start some anime like tomorrow. But what about you, Worst Damn? How you doing, man? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
All right, how about now?
Yep. There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm exhausted. I was up for the past couple days till about 5-6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't actually go to sleep yet today. So
wow.
Yeah, I've been up since about 5 o'clock yesterday morning. Yeah, buddy. Hey, man, the people want to see Gamer. I can't complain.
Do a 24-hour.
Yep.
Fortnite.
Sleep though. Remember that. Get your naps in. But no, it's good to be. It's really good to be back. It's fun to be here. I mean, I know we were just here last week, but still, it seems like it takes too long for it to come up at times. I wish I could like swap and do like my 9 to 5 once a week and do this every other day. Every other day. Spend 1 hour at work. Like, oh, done. Bye. You guys have a great week. See you next week. Peace. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Not yet.
I will say, based on the comments about Gamer in the bottom down there, this movie kind of feels like it could make for a pretty good game. Like it definitely had the adventure feel to it.
Like a Castlevania.
There's,
we talked about that.
It's funny you say that. Shout out to Radar. Big shout out to Radar, because a couple weeks ago when he seen that we were reviewing the first one, he hit me up on Discord. He was like, "Yo, did you know they made a PlayStation? It's on PlayStation 1, the first one, or Vampire Hunter D is on PlayStation." I was like, "Oh shoot!"
Wow.
Oh wow!
And he sent me a picture of it. I was like, "Oh shoot!" I was like, "I might have to try to hunt that down, unless it's a ridiculous price like another game I'm looking for." Which I hate. I hate that so much.
Hey, get ready. $90 to $100 easy coming soon for this next generation.
I'm talking about for the old generation, but yeah, you're right about that. Grandizer, how's it going? It's always great to have you here.
Grandizer.
But before we dive into the film, let's dive into our early ratings, gentlemen. James, you want to kick us off with this one?
I'm gonna go with, what did I give the last one?
Let's see. You gave it an 8.
Oh, this is better. This was a 9. I like this one better.
Trevor?
It's kind of weird. I just told you about how much I like this film, but I'm going to give it an 8. And I think I gave the first one a higher one based on its significance.
Yeah.
Also.
Yep. You gave it 8.5, the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gamer,
so
how about
8.
you? Oh, sorry.
8. Yeah.
8. How about you, Gamer?
This one's definitely better than the other one. Still a bit of a slow burn for me, but I think I gave the other one a 6.5, if I remember correctly.
7.5.
7.5? All right,
Yeah.
so yeah. Yeah, this one's better. I'm gonna give this one an 8.
I'll give the last one a 9. I do think this one's better, so I'm gonna give this one a 10. No, by no means I mean it's a perfect movie, but just overall story, beginning, middle, end, and the violence. And I always love the violence in anime. I don't think there's any other genre of, I guess you still call it film, even though it's animated, but film does. I mean, because you can go anywhere you want with anime, with the animated type of stuff. But with the violence in it, it's so awesome. It's so beautiful. Like just a slight, even in something as old as, I mean, I know this is from 2000, but shit, that's it. I hate to say it right now, but I'm gonna say it. 2000 is 25 fucking years ago now, people. That's crazy. That is fucking crazy because 2000 feels just like yesterday. I swear.
Yep.
But anyway, what I was getting at is like with the slices of the blades and all that stuff, just like the way they did it and the lighting in both the films, but more so with this one. I love the elegance of it and how beautiful it is. And yes, it looks way better now, but just even back then, just with more of the, which I hope they do get back to with the more of the hand drawn animation. I like it so much better. I know the stuff nowadays looks cleaner, looks cooler, and all that, but there's just something about that hand drawn. You know, the hand drawn. There's just more of a feel. You get more of a feel to it. I feel like there's more passion in it.
If you like violence, you should check out Berserk.
Yeah, that's supposed to be very good. I have not seen or read it, but I've had many people tell me it's awesome.
Yeah, there's a few things I need to just get into, which
I'm the anime nerd of the group. That's why I like these so much. Even though it's older, I'm like, okay, all right.
No, I love it. I love it.
I call it adult cartoons.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other subject. But
that you're exactly, Grandizer. People born in 2000 are adults now. That doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Adult? When did that happen?
And you want to hear something?
Nobody told me.
Here's something crazy, right? So, you guys know I'm a football fan. You guys know I watch the draft, which next year I'll be doing like video. Next year I'll be doing something for the draft, which Jason, I would love you to be a part of that. Doing like a live.
I'm going to be live in Pittsburgh. It's going to be live here in Pittsburgh. I'm actually going to be at the draft.
Oh, fuck. Oh, well, me and you may have to connect in another way. Me and you may have to connect in another way then. Maybe on the ground, some on the ground fun shit, just so you can see. We could show people how. Yeah, we'll talk. Either way.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. The economy is really gonna be booming for sure. I'm excited because we've never gotten a draft here in Pittsburgh in my lifetime, and I've been covering the draft for about 20 years. So I'm very excited.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But what I was getting at with that is
to go out there now.
I don't know what team drafted him. I don't remember
talking about ages, man.
I don't know the kid's name that got drafted. But it was this draft here is the last time that somebody born in the 1990s will be drafted in the NFL draft.
Wow.
That is crazy as hell. That is crazy as hell if you think of that's nuts. That is nuts. That means there's nobody else. Like everybody else that's in college or that's ever going to be drafted in the NFL is born from the year 2000 and up from here on out.
That just makes us old.
Straight up millennials.
Are you used to it?
Oh, yeah.
No. I'm not. It's just like, fuck. It's just one of those things. Like you know how it's scary.
Like,
oh, go ahead, Jason.
I was just gonna say, you were cutting out for a second, and you were talking about the age thing, and I was just like, I got to make sure my alarmist says to take my pills later because I need to go to get my walker and lay in bed. My God, we are getting old now, and it's a stark reminder that every day things change and get age so quickly that a lot of the players that I grew up watching, my like first generation players that I grew up with as rookies, are retired now because they're too old to play anymore. It's insane.
Yo, their kids are in the league now. Like last season, I was watching. Me and the wife. Actually, the wife came up here because I was watching. I had the Red Zone channel on at the time. Marvin Harrison Jr. was on the TV, and I was telling my wife, I was like, I watched his father's whole career. You know what I mean? Like Asante Samuel Jr. I'm like, I watch his father's. Like, this is nuts. I know this isn't a football show, people, but we're just. This kind of ties in with this being from the 2000s and the 99 shit that I just told you guys about and all this. It's just like, holy shit. Like, that's what really hits. It's like the sports, the sports thing in the movies. I'm like, holy shit. So I'm like, this movie's from 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And on top of that, you go back one more year.
Yeah, we used to. So like my intro to the NFL was just watching watching VHS tapes of like the old Follies and the old like 60s and 70s teams. Now people are going to be watching VHS tape, or I guess Blu-rays now of our teams we're watching now pretty soon. Like it's like when you go on NFL.com or YouTube, whatever, now you're seeing highlight compilations of stuff that like happened like 20 years ago when we started watching football. It's insane.
Like they won't even be watching
a lot of
Blu-ray.
people out there that make really good money doing archive work to find that stuff. Because a lot of it didn't get transferred digitally. So, more and more, it's like shot on video films. More and more of those are coming to life because they're finally being archived. So,
Grandizer, Joe Horn's son. I believe he's a defense. I think he plays for the Panthers. Yeah, you're right. What was cool
wide receiver Jimmy Horn, yeah.
They showed I just watched a video earlier of the Falcons owner actually talking to him. Talking about, because I guess he played there for a little bit at the end of his career. And he was talking about, he's like, your father helped Roddy White's career, which was, if you watch football, you know the Atlanta Falcons are. He was a great there. So it's just crazy how things just come in fruition, like just come to circle. There's other juniors and stuff in the league too, but we have to get to all those guys. But Christian McCaffrey, he's the running back for the 49ers. His father played for the Broncos. It's nuts. Ed McCaffrey, wide receiver. He was a beast. All right, back to the movie. Back to the horror, people. I'm done with the sports. I promise.
Jason, if you could rate it 1 to 10, what would you rate this?
Yes, Jason, what's your rating for this film?
Yeah, so
Vampire
I'm gonna be the Simon Cowell of the group. I'm gonna be the Simon Cowell of the group just because I'm coming in with the negative aspect of not having seen the first one. So a lot of my negative aspects of this film come from asking, like, who's this character? What's their relevance? What's their previous connection? I want to see more flashbacks and more tie-in scenes. And I didn't get to see those because I didn't watch the first movie. So now I've got to go back and watch it. So my rating's going to be a little unfair because a lot of my questions and a lot of my logic and story holes come from not knowing what happened before it. So I'm coming out of the aspect of there was a lot that I enjoyed, but because I didn't watch the first film and didn't realize it was a sequel, and I have no experience with any of the like 30 or 40 books they've made of this. So while there were things that I loved, and I loved especially the style that you guys talked about, but story-wise, I didn't connect to the characters because I wasn't there from the beginning. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
4 out of 10. That's not bad. Which I would love for you because the first one is great, and it's also on YouTube. Honestly, I would love for you to watch that one if you can within the next couple of days, and let me know your ratings for both after you got to see the first story, and even if you have to rewatch, if you have time and all that. But just so you can kind of get to, experience the whole story.
Well, technically, the first one didn't really give so much detail either.
It doesn't, but you do get more of the vampire hunter guy. You get
more.
Yeah,
you find out who
enough detail to follow into this narrative.
Like
which there's really not a lot in the first film you need, but there are a couple key things. And as long as you have those key things, you'll probably have it would make a lot more sense.
And
I'll be
have
honest.
a better time with it.
But and before I forget, I'm sorry, but Sturdy, you'd mentioned about really getting into anime and everything. And anime, as far as a art form, animation is a beautiful thing that has been around ever since before cinema there was animation. And you know, one of the beautiful things about anime is it's very influenced by books, by manga and manga artists. So you had these amazing artists doing this groundbreaking 2D work that literally opened the doors for, things like what we just saw from 2000, much less the latest version of Hunter x Hunter. And I
Love
sent
it.
you a couple
I got
panels
that
from the
too.
original Vampire Hunter D
I
to
can.
show you just how gorgeous the stuff is.
I'll pull that up in 1
That,
second, good
that's
sir.
another one you gotta watch, Aaron. Hunter x Hunter.
That'll go
It's
on
funny you
forever.
guys mentioned that one
Mhm.
because that one, on one of those YouTube channels that me and the wife watch, it's a food channel thing, and they'll try food from shows, and they'll make it like from even the animes, which always has some fire ass food for whatever reason. Well,
Mhm.
actually, because of where they're made, they have some fire ass food there. Besides the point. Anyway, that was one of the shows that they were mentioned on
Yeah.
there.
My son loves Hunter x Hunter. Watched a lot of it. Really awesome.
Hunter X
And it's
Hunter.
on Netflix, I think.
Hmm.
Is it? Even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
If not, definitely Hulu.
I have that's another anime I gotta start. That's another one.
There's a lot of episodes.
I that might be one of those ones I just kind of throw on. Then I'm not saying I won't pay attention to it, but you know what I mean. Like, because there's a few.
Oh no, you'll get into it. You get hooked in that shit.
But
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, look at the artwork. Yeah, the
Mhm.
mangas.
And it's interesting. You look at these, and if you're a comic book hound, you can notice that a lot of manga art was bleeding into independent comics. One that comes to mind is Obar's The Crow. This is pre-Crow. So,
yeah, I love it.
yeah. So it's just the art of the manga is just a truly gorgeous thing. And it's this marriage makes, I mean, I'm not a big anime fan. I'm not a huge manga fan. There's a lot of anime that, I'll be honest, I think is repetitive shit. But it there is it's a genre. It's a genre to itself, and you can have things like Studio Ghibli and serious adult films like Perfect Blue. Um, but it comes from a heritage of really beautiful illustration. So I just wanted to say that.
Nice, nice. Chris,
Yes,
what were
sir.
your favorite parts? What were some parts you really enjoyed about this movie? 'Cause I know you're really in anime, more so than I am.
I didn't really connect all that much with this one. It was decent as far as the story goes, and because of the connection from the other one, obviously it was a little bit better. It was newer. The art form looked better. It's a little tidier, more clean. And I like little touches that they did with the certain characters. They made him even more brooding in certain ways and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So I enjoyed it for all of that factor or whatnot. It's just the slower pacing is what didn't do it for me. So I
Mhm.
actually fell asleep, woke up, was like, okay, I missed like 2 or 3 minutes, fell asleep, woke up, okay, I missed
Mhm.
2 or 3 minutes, and I was like, I pretty much know what's going on. You know what I mean? One point I fell asleep for like 10 minutes. I woke up and I was like, looked at my girl, I was like, did this just happen? Is this pretty much where we're at right now? And she was like, yep. She's like, okay, I don't know how you just did that. So again, the slower pacing, expect it. It seems to be what they go for with the way they tell their story with this line or whatnot. So other than that, it's still a decent watch. It's still the artwork itself is what kept me there. I'm just super exhausted.
I would say that could be it too. You gotta get some sleepies in.
I
But
got
I
a quick
mean,
one. Did anybody here watch the subtitled version versus the dubbed version?
Yeah, I watched the subtitle.
Okay, so I got a couple
I
quick
wish.
questions for you. The parasite in his hand.
Uh-huh.
In the first film, it is his dark conscience. In this film, in the dubbed version, very sarcastic and funny.
Yes.
Is that crossover?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was really curious about that, and also the fact it does veer much more towards humor than the first film. So it's really cool you did, because that's the whole time I'm thinking. I'm like, hopefully this is a good dub job and it wasn't like dubbed for, marketing reasons.
No. They did a
Cool.
decent job of actually getting it across and
Awesome.
everything. Yeah, he's still his quips, and he's just a smart.
But there's
aleck,
a
you know
lot
what I mean?
more sarcasm in the second film.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool.
Nice.
That's good to know, because
Yeah, it is. It is. And I always prefer the original form of it. Just I can't always find it. You know what I mean? Like I just can't always get to it, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
They mentioned that that one vamp with Carmela mentioned to him, he was like, she noticed that he was the son of Dracula. She goes,
the
"Are you
king
the
of
son
the
of the king or something?"
vampires.
King of the
Yeah,
vampires.
we're not sure exactly who they're talking about, but it's pretty sure it's supposed to be Dracula.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Carmilla technically is an older vampire than Dracula, because the novella Camilla by Joseph Sheridan Lafanu, I believe, was out in 1872, and it was about a female vampire. And it's usually any vampire films with females tend to reference it, but I loved how this movie, like, boom, it was like, okay, we're dealing with a vampire that technically, on paper, is older than Dracula, and is a horror hound. That was like, that's a nice touch, because Carmilla could definitely kick your ass versus Dracula. So
I gotta say, I didn't really like how they handled the other vampires or whatnot. I feel like they were like, you see them acting zombie like and walking all weird and everything,
Mhm.
and it's like they're in a daze. But then you have the interaction where he runs up on somebody, or the when you see the other hunters when they first introduce them. You see him grab some, like talking to somebody. He's all scared, and he grabs him, checks his neck, and he's bitten. He transforms, and he's completely like there. He's coherent. He's like talking to the guy and like attacking. You know what I mean? So he gets thrown in, but it's just weird. It contradicted itself a little bit. Where you see them as these like mindless zombie like stalking,
they're even
and then
referred to at least once by the other group of assassins as zombies. And that brings
Yeah,
up the
they did mention
question
zombies.
that the
Yeah.
first film kind of did this a little bit, but there's a lot of different. There's a werewolf. There are these zombie-esque vampires. There are these nobility vampires. There's all these different things. There's a city that is specifically for mutants and outcasts, but I didn't really get a feel of like a hierarchy. And that's where the scene in the graveyard confused me, because I'm like, wait, why are these vampires acting just like Romero zombies when all the other vampires we've seen are like nobility and shit? So yeah, I'm right with you.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, for me, it kind of felt like drop shock, because I was dropped into this world where there's all of these different coexisting characters that have different affectations. You've got werewolves, you've got zombies, you've got vampires, you've got all of these different, you got things in people's hands, you've got things coming out of the ground, you've got bats flying everywhere. And they didn't take any time for me to explain kind of, again, who's in charge of what part of this world, who answers to whom, why is so-and-so like this, who turned who answers to whom. And so that for me was just like, I love the overall arc of the world and what it could be. And I can see why there's a billion books about this. It definitely can strike a chord with a lot of audiences of any kind of science fiction of all different types, but they didn't bother to really dive into any of them enough. I feel like the pacing for me that hurt was, I would love to take some of these random snarky interactions, cut them down, and replace them with some flashbacks of, why did this person join this particular pack? Why did this person hire this one? Why is this one the way they are? Because for me, the shining parts of this film, I wrote down, again, the characters' names were crazy here. And again, this podcast is going to be Jason trying to battle, but one of the big things for me is Leia and Dunpeel's relationship. Whenever Leia and Dunpeel are sitting in the the rainy whatever, and they're sitting there talking about they've kind of each done what they've done, why they've been forced to, Dunpeel doesn't get a full life. He doesn't get to be a regular person anymore because he's half and half. And Leia is, well, these people killed my mother, and my father went to find her, and I lost my father. You get the backstory of what drives them to be who they are, and that's where as relationships. And when you get moments of isolation, it's a really beautiful story that starts to form why people are who they are. And when you don't get that, it just feels like, well, who am I to cheer for? What's going on?
Well, this is the thing. I haven't read the mangas, and yeah, there's a lot of this series. So all that we really are left with are 2 films in a series that specifically fucks with your idea of time, because you are looking at any point in this film, it's Victorian, it's post-apocalyptic, it's Art Deco, it takes after so many tropes of the Western, but then you have the super Gothic. It is such a mishmash of just things alone, but also there's really no given idea of time, because you know that he's been around. In this film, the only thing they really say is at one point he did an extremely good thing for humans and they treated him horribly, and he's remembered. But at the end of the film, we see Layla's character, and not knowing it right off the bat, being interned into the ground. And this little girl sees Dee in the corner, like, could that be? And runs up, and I'm like, what the hell? And before it even hits me, because she says grandmother, and it doesn't hit me right away, and I'm like, bam. And I liked that. I like that for the story purposes, for the purpose of narrative, but I also like the fact that this character doesn't seem to really have a cohesive timeline, visually or as a narrative. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, they do like a time jump, like 50, 60 years in the future.
It's kind of like the Road Warrior franchise.
Yeah,
There is no actual, it just jumps around.
One of the things that kind of like piggybacking off what you said, I wrote Batman the Animated Series meets X-Men meets Hammer horror animation style. So it just brings together all of these different. It's that really gritty. It's that kind of colorful Fox Kids series animation, but it also has this Gothic Hammer horror. It's some vampire west, like you said. It really does bring together different elements, and it makes you kind of as a viewer, brings you through this old Gothic castle, and kind of puts you in that almost like Vincent Price, Roger Corman kind of castle at times too. So it's a nice, really nice style that kind of can bring you into the world, and that's where once I was invested in that.
Oh, there are a lot of Mario.
I wanted to know who the kids were, and I didn't fully get that again because of coming in late as well.
Definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you could change about this movie, what would it be? Anything, it could be, even if it's a faster pace, whatever it could be. For me, I think it would just be just real quick, just more in depth. Like I understand it had a story to it, but just more in depth with it. Kind of just more in depth with this story, because it was. I mean, 1 and 2, yes, they connect, but like you were saying, Trevor, you really only need a handful of things from the first film to really get everything out of this film. But I think the first film, even though I enjoyed this one more, I think the first film kind of had a better story in a sense. It may not have stuck with it, but at least the beginning, you know what I mean? Like what it was about at first, and then it just kind of did its thing. But yeah, so for me, I'd say more of a deeper story.
I'm going to contradict myself. And I'm going to say, if you don't mind, what I would change about this movie, even though I just had a discussion when we talked about, the sarcasm in the film, is even though it was really well written and the sarcasm was great and it did a very good job of helping with the pacing, I think I would have appreciated this movie even more if it had stayed as stoic as the first one. because D in his own way is like Clint Eastwood in The Unforgiven. He is the man with no name. Yet multiple Western references on purpose, but I think that would have made it even more of a shocking film and made that ending in which her grandchild thanks him even more like bam.
Yeah.
But I like depressing shit, so.
Yeah, I mean,
How about
for
you
me,
guys?
it's not a matter of like diving into like repeating myself, but I feel like for me, it's if they could have trimmed some of the journey pieces once everyone kind of got their assignment. If they could have trimmed some of the middle part that sort of lagged for me and replaced some of those things with some either some flashbacks or some more one-on-one conversations about what motivates each person. Kind of, oh, like these ones are kind of the high-ranking people on this side. These are why they align with these hunters. This is why this person hired this hunter instead of this group of hunters, and kind of just dive into their psyche in terms of like, we know who Batman is. We know who Deadpool is. We get those archetypes that kind of make them who they are. And while I feel like Dunpeel had elements of like brooding Batman kind of against the world character, we didn't fully get to dive into the why of it. And I will say also in a smaller aspect of it, and this might hopefully not land too harsh with people that love the movie, but I did not like the main character's voice actor. I just thought it was too flat and too one note for me personally.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting. It didn't. What happened?
I said hi to Chad.
Oh, it was good. Chad was good. For me,
So,
the voice didn't bother me, but I get where you're coming from, though.
I liked the one before that was a knockoff of Liam Neeson. The voice actor from the first one, I liked much better.
okay.
Nice. And how about you, James? Your overall.
Going off what Jason was saying, he does have a point where he said earlier in the show, it does feel like you turned on the TV in episode 69. It's not the first episode. It's like you don't even know. Like Trevor also said, to like the timeline, you don't know what the hell happened. If I had to change anything, I would have them put in the story more of the lore of Vampire D.
Yeah.
Like flashes of the father, but you don't see the face, but you see his mother though, like raising him or something like that. That that's where you click, you go, oh, he's a half vampire. He's a hybrid. So he's the first Blade.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's a daywalker. He has that's another thing they don't explain. They don't explain why he has that parasite on his hand. Basically, that's what it is. A parasite,
they refer to it as a parasite several times. But
yeah,
I'm sure there's additional lore
I didn't
to
know.
it.
Yeah. Then I didn't know his mouth on his hand had the power of, I don't know if you watched
sucking?
You ever seen Inuyasha?
Yes, I remember that show. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's Inuyasha, the one monk has a power. He has like a black hole on his hand, and he sucks all the demons and everything into it. And that's what that reminded me of. I was like, oh shit, that looked like fucking Inuyasha shit right there. But this came out before Inuyasha, I believe. Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah,
so yeah,
honestly,
there's a lot of things I caught up. I see in other animes.
Yeah, in terms of the hand, one of the notes that I wrote, and I'm not sure if you guys will get this, but I wrote, idle hand sounds like Beavis.
What did you say?
Idle hand sounds like Beavis.
Idle hands.
Nice.
Idle hands sounds like Beavis. He has this really sarcastic kind of like almost frat guy delivery that I think is a nice stark contrast to the rest of the characters, and it kind of works for him. But I'm just like,
whether it was in the non-dubbed version because I thought it was a little weird.
Yeah, it is definitely a contrast for sure.
Oh shit! Yeah, this movie. I'm glad that I got to go see. Going back to the first one, I'm really happy I got to see the first one in theaters about a month ago now, and then to dive into this. Yeah. So a friend of mine, he just hit up a few of us, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna grab the tickets. You guys want to go see this movie?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, shit, yeah, I'll go." It was during the week, so it was tough. That was the toughest part for me. I had to think about it for a little bit, talk to the wife, because it's just. Listen, man, I just told you 2000 was 25 years ago. So with that, going to the movies during the week after work can be rough at times. I didn't want to take the whole day off just because I'm going to the movies. I'm not opposed to that. I am not opposed to that, but I wasn't gonna do it this time. But shit, man, it was a great time. But that next day, I was fucking tired.
Dude, I'm slightly older than Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm.
It doesn't get much better.
I did.
But,
One of the really interesting things that I liked, like toward the middle part of the film, we saw a couple really unique creatures, and I wrote, I want to see a couple of these cool designs in live action form because they translate well in the comic style. And I think if we get a good animator, you know, someone that did like Pumpkinhead or one of the like American Werewolf in London, imagine translating that kind of graphic style to a horror style and see what it looks like in live action.
Baker.
Yeah, you know what?
Like that camouflage, that snake lady. She was a mixture. Did they explain what exactly she was?
A shapeshifter of some kind.
Because you knew that one was. Oh, okay. Because the other one, you know, is a werewolf, even though the werewolf mouth is in his stomach. That was kind of weird. But yeah, they had done. They just had different creatures like protecting the main vampire. So it reminded me of that's another thing that popped in my head. Underworld, where the werewolf was working with the vampire slave, guardians.
It's that Western outlaw town.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So
it also had a bit of like, I guess, to modernize it even more. It kind of had a bit of like Vampire Diaries meets True Blood, where everyone's got a different thing and they're all kind of in packs together. I know that's like, it's like a 16-year-old girl reference, but it's very much kind of like what it was like.
True
It's like, no, these ones are werewolves and these ones are
Vampire
vampires.
Diaries is pretty good.
I love True Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, True Blood.
Shooky Stackhouse.
The books they're based on were actually kind of fun. I read part of one. It wasn't my deal, but they were really cute reads. Yeah.
Yeah, they oh crap, sorry.
Charlene Harris, I think, was the author.
Charlene.
Yeah, based on the tagline of the movie, honestly,
books that True Blood were based on.
Okay.
Just reference, yeah.
Based on that tagline of the movie
Chris?
Bloodlust, I mean, I feel like it's a missed opportunity, like you said, because they did make it a little more dramatic feeling, like that teeny bopper, you know, loves that drama, whatever. So, I mean, missed opportunity. They could have done a little bit more to give us more of the understanding of the whole Bloodlust. It was kind of weird that they throw the little wino pretty much like he likes some type deal, and I was like, all right, I guess, you know, he's drawn that the hand was making fun of him for it's the smell of her blood when she was hurt or whatever. It was just a couple little things that I feel like they just could have handled a little bit better and given more context to, just to kind of have you more, I guess, engaged and giving a shit of the story. Because again, I watched it, I got through it. It's decent, but I think I'm more angry because it could have been so much better. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at too.
Well, I think it was a lot of genres they were trying to balance, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But going into this, it was kind of a surprise after the first film you just kind of had to like go, okay, this is just a ride. This is more about bounty hunters than about what made D. This is more about D's more morals. I mean, Layla pretty much exists just to show that even though D is almost supposed to be soulless, if he sees a human who is hurt or in trouble and they have not caused it onto themselves, he is still human enough to actually take care of them, which I thought was really, really awesome. But yet again, it was just you got the Western, just everything was thrown in. It was really awesome and everything. But I can see where you're a filmmaker, James. I really feel that
Jason.
is one of the few times that somebody should have looked at somebody. Well, specifically, either the maker, Kukiichi, or the director Kawajiri, and said, "Hey, 90 minutes is a good idea, guys. That other 23 minutes, we can get rid of it." And I'm like the last person to say that about a film, but I think in this case that would have helped. The pace, if it had gone up, you wouldn't be worrying about the plot holes as much. So,
Agreed.
Also, I think if you're more so just kind of accepting that we're already in this world and it's already built, and you're not going to get a lot of the in stuff, but you're just going to go along for the ride, that's fine, because they have built good exoskeletons for the characters. They've built a good start to who everybody is. I would like more without having to watch 5 more movies, but that being said, you could have hidden it behind a little more blood. I thought for a rated R film that was kind of ballyhooed about its blood, I thought that there wasn't a ton of it, and maybe I'm just a little bit kind of overspoiled by the gory horror that I watch and the SFX that I try to make on my stuff. But I feel like we didn't get, like, the moments we got blood, it was like, oh, that makes for a really cool shot, and that actually like kind of gives you a little bit more sympathy for the character that's in shambles. But we never got any lingering stuff. We didn't get enough for me. So I like the blood we got, but I wish we got a little more personally.
Yeah, I agree. I love goriness when it comes to especially this type of stuff. And Grandizer, it's Jason. It was just a mix up with names. It's Jason's the one that's the filmmaker, not James.
Yeah, not me. I can't make shit.
I don't know if I can either. I don't know. It depends on what the filmmakers tell me. I don't know. There's times that I feel like I'm good at it, and times that I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. So,
listen, I've seen your work, so
thank you.
all I gotta say,
I appreciate it.
I've seen your work.
But yeah, for me, I mean, it definitely didn't feel super graphic, and I liked Leia's arc the best. For me, seeing Leia kind of get a little bit softened by D, and kind of by the end, she has a feeling for the zombies.
That's usually
and she's
what
kind of cheering on. Yeah, but by the end, she's kind of cheering on. Exactly. She's like, I kind of feel for them, and she sees Dee spare his life, and they go shooting up to heaven, and she's cheering for him. And it's like, they really unveiled her the most and kind of gave us the most layers as to the onion that she is. And I want to see a movie now where Leia is the new zombie hunter, but has compassion based on her experience.
Yeah.
They warned you not to go out tonight. No, that was me last weekend when I drank too much.
Yeah.
He just didn't make a movie about it. That's good.
James is the original creator of Here, Hold My Beer.
Yeah.
When it comes to some things,
No,
I never said that. If I was going to do something, I used to down the beer. I used to go, hold on a second, just slam it. Then I go, let's do this.
Give you the extra excuse.
No, Grandizer, I did not make whatever that movie that you mentioned is, but I do have a YouTube channel that should be in the chat somewhere. I do have a couple of my short films on there if you want to check them out. I don't know if they're better or worse than Vampire Hunter D, but I'm going to make the next one, Vampire Hunter F.
Do you make it with love? Then it's awesome.
I do make it with love. Mm-hmm. Lots of love and lots of gore. Thank you.
There you go.
Even better.
That's his YouTube channel right there. Somebody can go check that. Go check that out.
Thank you.
Of course. Speaking of, I did tell you guys I was going to show you one of his films. So let's get that.
Bonus feature. Let's go.
Let's get that going. Let's get that pulled up for us. Let me just get this out the way. All right.
Now, Grandizer, stay tuned. They're going to show one right now, actually. My first one back in the scene when I came back in 2017. There's a playlist pulled up right here. Mindbender's coming up here. This actually has done really, really well. It's won, I think, more awards than any of my stuff, but besides Limbo Cafe. I think it's on 20 or so festival awards. and been on a few podcasts and got a few write-ups. So it is definitely one made with love, and it is one made with a pretty cool titular character, I think, that you guys will appreciate.
Awesome. Awesome.
In shock and mourning over the tragic fire that burned down St. Jordan High School a week ago. The effects of Ray Farmer will be felt by far more than the 21 dead and 43 injured in the wreckage. Farmer was a patient of renowned psychiatrist Dr. Thomas Sage. We reached out to Sage for comment, but got no response at this time.
How's my angel today?
A little better. I actually got about an hour of sleep last night, so that helped.
You know, with Daddy getting laid off, the insurance company won't cover the pills anymore. And you know all about our financial situation. But now I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get you better.
I love you, Dad.
I love you, sweetheart. Who is it now?
Hi, Tom. It's me, Martin.
Martin. I'm real busy. What do you want?
I was just checking to see how you were. We've been worried about you lately.
You weren't worried when you fired me after 30 years of service. Why would you be worried now?
That was business, Tom. You know we appreciate all you've done for us.
Listen, Van Brocklin. I really am busy. I need to solve the Mideast crisis and win a Nobel Prize. So, if you've got nothing to say,
Let me try to explain the company's stance. We understand your frustration, but it's an image thing. The company is looking for young, healthy doctors who are, well, sharp. You had been really moody with the patients lately, and injured and forgetful, and we've been putting this off for as long as we could. But when Ray Farmer went off the deep end with your name attached as his doctor, we had no choice in the matter.
What, are you blaming me for getting older? What's next? Are you going to blame me for breathing air or drinking water? What Farmer did had nothing to do with our sessions. I have one patient with a setback after 30 years, and I'm thrown out on my ass. You know, I have won more medals and awards than any other doctor in that place combined, and you know it. Yet, I'm thrown out to pasture like some lamb to the slaughter. And for what? To make room for some punk kid who has no understanding of how the human brain functions?
Look, Tom, I'm really sorry about this. I didn't want it to go this way. Honest. Hang in there. I know you'll be able to make another impact in this world.
Yeah, you bet I will. You bet I will.
Your office looks so nice, Dad. It's so great that you get to keep in touch with all your patients and you still get to see them.
That's right, sweetie. I hold on to a copy of all the files. I don't think there's a doctor out there that can reach my patients quite the way I can. Now, if someone comes through that door, you just send them in to me.
Sure thing, Dad.
Oh. Daria. Long time no see. And hello, sunshine. How are you today?
He's fine. He had a hard little time on our trip, though.
Well, come in. Are you feeling settled in your new home?
Sure. It's nice to be in one place for more than 6 months at a time. Without anyone to tell you what to do or put their hands on you. Right, Sunshine?
Have your other halves been calmer since the last time we met?
Sometimes. They never really go away. I have to do things to keep them quiet. Anything to get some rest.
Samantha, have you been able to enjoy time by yourself?
Time is all I got, honey. But there ain't a man yet who's been able to say no to a little quality time.
And you haven't told anyone your new address?
No. Those mean men from the foster home will ever be able to find me and Sunshine. And if they do, we'll be ready for them.
You do seem more tense than usual, which is surprising. Are you okay?
Oh, yes, Doctor. I'm just a little nervous. I blacked out. And when I came to, she was just lying there like my parents were years ago.
And have you been able to do that little job we talked about?
Of course, Doc, baby. I always get the job done.
And my wife, she was in those apartments across town like we thought?
Yeah, the address was right. I took her right outside.
You had to. She would have told your old foster family where you lived, and they would have come for you. You were just doing what was best for you and Sunshine. She abandoned my family. She would have abandoned you too. I promise, Scott, everything's gonna be okay. Dr. Liz had it coming. She left you alone when you weren't ready.
So I was quieting the others?
Yes, Scott. Now, Dr. Liz was an old partner of mine. She embezzled thousands of dollars from my savings account without a trace of proof from my lawyers. So, you were her jury. I'm so glad we found a way to put your science background to good use. So you called Dr. Van Brocklin and made an appointment.
Sure did. And he ate it up just like putty in my hands. Just like they all do. But when it got hunt heavy, he backed off and started talking about his wife, just like the rest of them.
Of course he did, Samantha. He led you on. And he would have discarded you, just like the rest. Just like you did me. But I'm the only man who really cares about your needs. Come in. I've been expecting you.
Dr. Sage, it's such an honor to meet you. I've been following your work for quite some time.
Well, the pleasure's all mine, Mr. Cantor. You know, the human mind is a very fascinating thing. And when I heard that you were a reformed patient, well, I was so glad you reached out.
I've been following some of your cases, and your mind is brilliant. A man with your experience and knowledge deserves to live on forever and keep his legacy alive.
Well, sometimes a man has to do what's right by his family. Thankfully, there will always be patients out there in need of my help. And I've been looking to branch out. I think your connections will help us build an army we need to make a real difference in the world.
I'm so happy to help. Your philosophies are going to change so many lives.
I'm counting on that. Tomorrow is day one, Principal Cantor. Your school for wayward children needs us. The world needs us.
Really quick, Jason. One of the patients. I don't know who you know. If you know this comedian, Jeremiah Watkins, is that him? Because he looks exactly like him.
No, the male patient is Nick Zarzexny. He's a local Pittsburgh actor.
Okay, because he looks like Jeremiah Watkins is a comedian.
I don't know the comedian, but I'm going to
like
Google him as soon as we're done here, actually.
Yeah.
I know I didn't see that one, but I enjoyed that.
Very good.
I was going to say, but please don't throw
Yeah,
your
it was
tomatoes
good.
and rocks at the screen too hard. If you guys are throwing tomatoes, I have to duck a little bit, so be careful.
Not at all, man. Not at all. Like, it was the twist in it was cool too. I'm like, holy shit. He's having his parents. He's having his patients literally do all of his dirty work, and just because they're in such a, I mean, he's fucking with their mind. But because they're, they're where they're at mentally, he's just like, okay, I'm gonna help you by you going and killing my wife. It's gonna help you, and it's gonna help me. He let them know it's gonna help him. It's like it's gonna help you. I'm gonna switch it up on him. I dug it. I dug that.
I really wanted to kind of blend the lines of, again, somebody who is considerably a family man is somebody who he's got a sick daughter and his wife's left him and he's lost his career, and somebody who is a genuinely great person before this. You join him in this world where his life is at a precipice, and now all of a sudden a good person is doing really bad things and manipulative things, but for his sick daughter and for vengeance, but more so for the fact of like his life was taken away. So it definitely is, it's that shade of gray that I think we all have to some degree in us. And so I think it's a pretty cool character study. I just thought of an idea of what if this really established almost demure person that's charismatic kind of snaps and becomes dangerous. So I hope it portrayed itself well.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, I dug it. Can't hear you, Chris.
Yeah. Please throw all your barbs. And anything you guys can give me in terms of how to improve, how to transition. I initially had thought about what if we did something with the doctor at the school. We've kicked around the idea of a sequel for a long time. I don't usually do sequels. I like to keep my stuff all kind of first run stuff, but this character is pretty intriguing. I will say the one downside to making Mindbender was the year. I think either the same year or the year right after they were making a TV series here in Pittsburgh called Mindhunter. It's on Netflix now. You guys might have seen it. Mindhunter was shot right down the road from us. And so when I said that I was doing Mindbender and that it was getting all these awards around the world, all of a sudden people were going, "Oh my God, you did Mindhunter?" And I was like, "No, I did Mindbender. It's a very different thing." So I get confused for Mindhunter all the time. It's a pain in the ass, actually. So I've never seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it. But every single time that I say Mindbender won another award, they go, "Oh yeah, I saw it on Netflix." And I went, "No, you didn't."
No, you didn't.
What do you guys think?
It was great. I liked it.
Yeah, I had a really good time with it.
We shot that entire movie in one day. That was all shot in one day. That was a 16-hour day.
Wow.
Yeah, we shot that in one day, and I want to say the budget was probably maybe $400 total. I think the budget came from mostly the house, and Sunshine was the owner of the house, Liz, who was the one who smashed the Van Brocklin's head at the end. It was her house, and she had Sunshine, and she was like, "I love this stuffed animal," and I was like, "Let's get Sunshine involved in the movie." So I named him Sunshine, and there he was. He got his own POV. But it was a $400 all shot in one day, and I was dead by the end of the day. But for one day's work, not too bad.
I can only imagine.
That was dope. I enjoy some of the shots.
Stuff to get done in one day. That's very impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Just rounding that number of people in one day is a freaking feat. So very impressive, sir.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. Yeah, it was very chaotic in terms of trying to get, because this house was it was on the south side, so a pretty popular party spot down here in Pittsburgh, and she has like 15 rooms in this house. But trying to wrangle everyone and get everybody in their call times and trying to set up all the deaths. And actually, one of the actors no-showed the morning of. She got sick. So the person playing the girl that got stabbed, the cork, and we picked the bear up, and she was the blood was coming out of her temple. That was my girlfriend who wound up on set that day because she was ADing, and she stood in for the actress. So she wasn't even initially the actress, and she came in at the last second. So yeah, we had a little snafu with. The actor got sick, and then she had to jump in at the last second and did a wonderful job.
Wow.
Okay, question for you, Jason.
Yes, Grandizer. This was my first movie back in the scene. So long story short, I was involved in Pittsburgh indie film about from like 2010 to 2013. And then I took 4 years off to go do Shakespeare plays, write books, and do a couple other things. And then I came back in 2017 because that ex-girlfriend, she was showcasing a film at a local theater that I saw. And I said, I think I'm going to make this movie called Mindbender. I have this idea. I want to make this because we were at a festival, and it was called the Haunted Oaks Festival. It was an all-horror Pittsburgh festival. And I said, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to make this movie and see if I can just make it in the festival. Well, I made it in the festival, and I actually won the festival with it. So I decided that I wanted to come back and make movies kind of full-time. So this was my first one officially back in the scene, the first one of my production company, Nostalgic Nightmare Productions. And I've done about one a year since then. I think I'm on 8 now since I've started that. So I usually do one a year. Hi, puppy. And then there might be a part 2 at some point. I'm still very good friends with Thomas Sage and a bunch of the cast. And of course, a lot of them are dead now. But Thomas Sage is still a good buddy of mine. Shout out to David Ogrodowski, phenomenal Pittsburgh actor. There's a chance there could be a part 2 from this. It's a one and done for right now, but we've got many ideas to make it bigger and better. So
awesome. I would love to see a sequel. And I'm not even gonna lie, I'd love to see a sequel, but I also understand that you're a one and done when it comes to your films, which I get that as well. But it's like a lot of your stuff that I've seen, the way you end it, it's always wanting you. It's like, oh damn, I need more. I want more, which is a good thing because it's a great thing. Honestly, it's a great thing. It's one of those things where it's like I'd rather watch something that I really enjoy and wish that it could be longer or wish there was more of it than the opposite. Then just like, oh my God, this is too long. What the fuck? Why am I saying here?
That's one of those things for me that I feel like, I'm sorry. Cleveland Horror Festival.
Chad, I dropped it and I pinned it to the top, Chad. Of the
Chad, man, it's a Styles Clash number 4 Life, all one word. Styles Clash 4 Life is my channel. I've got several films on there. There's up in the chat again. Yeah, I feel like for me, I love the twist ending. I've turned into kind of like the handicapped M. Night Shyamalan. I do a lot of twist endings. So my thing is always, again, leave the audience on that high note. I don't like really nice pat endings. This current book that I just wrote is a children's story. It's the first time that any story of mine has ever ended in a positive way. I feel like there's something about life that's just never exactly how you expect it, whether it's positive or negative. It never goes in the direction or in the linear healing process that you want it to. So there's always a reason to keep the audience invested. And then the Cleveland Horror Festival, I don't think I've heard of theirs. I've done several in Cleveland. I just sent out to Transparent Fest. And I've been to a couple Cleveland festivals that I like a lot, and I always send stuff up to them. There's a guy, Jake Jolly from Cleveland, that runs a really cool festival that I featured in a couple times. So I will Google. I use Film Freeway to submit my stuff. It's a website that allows you to send your stuff out.
Cool.
I will Google Cleveland Horror Festival.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Film Fest. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah. How much would it take to get Trevor to be in one of your movies? Listen, I am always looking to branch out and expand my horizons, and I always work with different actors. So I am down. Trevor, send me your best audition tape, and we're gonna make this happen.
Sounds like a plan.
You've already got a unique look. I mean, I'm digging the scarf and the hat. You've got kind of a Thomas Sage's brother thing going on right now. I like it.
Okay. Yes.
Oh man, I would love to see you two collab on a story between Trevor's, because I'm telling you right now, Jason, this innocent look of Trevor, that's not it. There's more to him than this innocent kind of look. Which he is a good. I mean, you'd be safe around him, but he watches some awesome, wild shit, and I love it.
Well, I imagine you, Jason, you sound like a hardcore gorehound. So, and
Yes.
being from the Pittsburgh area, you already know that the underground. There's the underground, and there's the underground. So, yeah, I somehow ended up being a person who loves high art and really, really low art, and that area in between kind of bores the shit out of me.
Yep.
So, give me Herschel Gordon Lewis and Fellini in a double picture, and I'm happy. So,
yeah, that's kind of my thing, is that I forget the benefit of having seen like every major horror release from 1930 to now. I've seen almost 100 years of horror, genuinely, and so I love everything. I love the really dark Asian stuff. I love the vivid colors and beautiful soundtracks of all the giallo. I love a lot of the elevated modern stuff. I love a standard slasher. I like it all, and I like to kind of paint with all those colors whenever I'm creating characters, because again, you can find the smallest nuances of a person and make that into a character, and that's kind of why I stick to short films. Not just in scheduling and in budget, because I pay everyone for their work, and I try to sublet my time, and my body doesn't really allow for me to do feature films because I have CP and spinal stenosis. I'm going into another surgery. So I really spend a lot of time subletting a really tight schedule. But I think that for me, it's very much just, let's see how much different we can take an ordinary scenario and blow it up and make it this big, crazy thing, and kind of watch the audience watch characters unravel, because that's super interesting.
Nice.
I have a film for you, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but have you ever seen a Belgian film called Man Bites Dog?
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend that to you if you can track that one down, because it's a found footage film, but it's a found footage film about a group of journalists that befriend a serial killer, and as they get deeper and deeper and drunker, they start kind of joining in. And it's black and white, and it is just this amazing character study, because it's also like the darkest dark of comedy, called Man Bites Dog. After watching that and hearing it, I think that's one you'd really appreciate from back in the
1922 crime comedy. Oh, I'm gonna check this out.
No. Man Bites Dog is a gritty serial killer film.
Is it from 1922? From the 20s, or is it
No,
newer
no,
than
no,
that?
no, not 1922.
Oh, okay.
It's like I think it was like 1994 or 93.
94. Okay, I'll look that one up.
Mm. Yeah, this is just a really, really fun character study film that is, without being exceedingly gory, extraordinarily disturbing.
James loved the Twilight film. He was Team Edward.
1992. No. Okay, yeah, 92.
92.
Yeah. Fuck Twilight.
Listen, Grandizer. You want to see James rant? Go to the horror research. I don't remember which one it was. It was the horror research study episode. It was just me and him reviewing Blood Lake. The first time, oh, he was pissed. You want to see Chris go crazy? Again, I don't remember the episode number. Yeah. Horror research 30. Weed Wolf. Actually, there was 2 Puerto Ricans going crazy on that film.
Wolf.
Hilarious. For that review.
I thought it was
sounds like a full moon film.
It wasn't even that. It was lower.
It's not even as good as
it's
Evil Bong films. No. Like those lower.
No.
At least they have Tommy Chong in it. I mean, Tommy Chong is like a god. So.
Evil Bong is fun. The Weed Wolf movies, they were bad, but Chris was pissed, and it was funny.
I'm gonna have to look those up.
And it's exactly what you think it is.
I mean, that honestly is the beautiful thing about horror, is that even when you watch a particularly bad movie, even one that's intentionally bad, you get together with your friends, you talk about it, you laugh about it, you analyze it more than the filmmakers do. You have drinks, you have snacks, and it becomes an entire situation. It becomes a party. It becomes an event. And that's what's beautiful about horror that no other genre has, is that whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you're enjoying it because you get to debate and you get to laugh and you get to make yourself feel like a kid again, like you're sitting on the floor watching VHS tapes or watching Joe Bob Briggs, and that's beautiful.
Exactly.
You're right
about 100% on that.
You're right about
because I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just had to say really quick, I agree with you 100% because I sat here as you guys are talking about football, and it's like a foreign language to me. But horror is one of the few genres that, at least, that I've seen, that you get a group of horror lovers together and you drop a bomb, like, who's better? Is Texas Chainsaw 2 a masterpiece or not? And then people just go. And that's that social element. And see, that's fandom that understand that language.
Yeah.
But it's very similar. It is a social thing that people enjoy sharing their love for.
Oh, I love it.
You don't see that with a lot of other genres, which is really awesome. And then of course there's a connection with heavy metal, so you have an even bigger, group of nerds that, at a drop of a hat can talk movies.
Oh, we love it too. We love it too, because there's just something about horror that just warms your heart. As crazy as that sounds, you just feel it's just such a comforting thing. You just sit down, you relax, you kick your feet up, and you watch this crazy shit or funny, whatever type of subgenre it is. And one thing I love about horror is that it has that. I mean, for one, it has multiple subgenres, but is that it has that thing to where it can literally go in any direction and somehow make sense, or at least be enjoyable. There's a version of it. I feel like there's a version of a subgenre / version of every form of horror that you enjoy. You might not enjoy every movie under that subgenre, but I'll just like slasher, paranormal, horror comedy. I use those 3. Like horror comedy is one that a lot of people may not like because they're like, you want more of the horror, but I'm sure there's a horror comedy out there that somebody likes that, not a big fan of horror comedy, but there's one that they like. It might not have too much comedy in it, or just has the comedy that they like in it.
Peter Jackson's Bad Taste.
Yeah. And that's the thing is not to paralyze by analysis, but fear is such a strong emotion. I mean, right next to love, it's one of the strongest things you can feel. And horror gives you the opportunity to feel that fear while also being safe. You're inside your house. You're with your friends. You're in a totally safe environment while you still get to put yourself in Jamie Lee Curtis's shoes trying to run from Michael Myers, or yelling, "Why are you putting the fucking knife down?" You get a chance to yell at the screen and run around and be totally safe while feeling the fear of the characters. And that's so beautiful, a storytelling device.
Hell yeah.
I was literally going to say that too, because that's why I love the paranormal or found films or situational type things, like survival horror situations. Like, what would you be doing in like a zombie apocalypse occurs? There's a virus. Nobody knows what's going on. You're locked in your school. Like, what are you doing? What you know what I mean?
I'll tell you two things, Chris. I'm gonna tell you first. I'm gonna tell you what in my mind what I'd be doing. I'm saving my household. Fuck everybody else. I can't save everybody. Make sure my household is safe, and people that I'm with, my crew is safe. I'm gonna be the hero of that shit. What I'm really gonna be doing is probably trying to find a place to hide. Like, listen, man, shit. I don't have shit. It's like, what am I gonna do?
Yep.
What am I gonna do? There's zombies coming in here nonstop. After a while, you're gonna run out of shit. I'm trying to be safe.
I mean, this is why meta is so cool, because now meta allows the storytellers and the actors in the film to be like us fans and to analyze the movie while it's going on and be like, hey, like I'm the horror nerd, I'm the Randy in Scream, I'm the one that knows how to analyze, and the audience can relate to them because they go, I was that guy when I was 7, so it's really cool. And then I see a question from Grandizer, what got me into the genre? Well, that's going to be a 5-hour podcast, but I will say this. I will say that growing up reading R.L. Stein's Goosebumps, I got to meet R.L. Stein during COVID via a book symposium online. Yeah, he was very, very cool. He and I have the same process for writing books, and I had no idea. It's insane.
Interesting.
But R.L. Stein was
I love his Man Thing run.
Yeah, yes. And Wes Craven as an adult, from revolutionizing the genre in Freddy to then re-revolutionizing it again in Scream, and taking it into the current place. So for me, it was really just watching VHS tapes on my mom and aunt's floor. As a kid, they both were horror fans. And so I just started to wear out VHS tapes every weekend with my cousin and just scaring ourselves. And I realized at a young age that I wanted to be a writer in some form, and now I do it in every form. So I just I started at a very young age, and I want kids to grow up like I grew up. So I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what's cool about that, I mean, as far as getting into horror, is for me it's very similar as far as, well, it wasn't my mom or my aunt because they wouldn't allow me to because I was too young at 5, but whatever. So I'd watch it with my older cousins and my older brother, and the rules. Don't wake up on so-and-so, don't wake up Ma, because then it's gonna be a real life scary movie. And the belt or whatever they pick up is the machete, and they're Jason.
Then you got to find a place to hide for real. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Camp Crystal ass whoop if they wake up. But like it was cool to like really get into it as a kid and then have like that fear and that adrenaline, but you always want to come back for more. Every single time you jump, not scream because you don't want to make anybody up, but seriously, like you jump and you're scared of these movies. And then I'm just like, oh shit! So when's the next movie? When we watch the next? Like, you damn near shit on yourself. But that's fine. But when is the next one?
It's the only place in the world that you can say, "Oh my god, that traumatized me, and I won't sleep for a week. Now I got to show my friends." It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it also just slowly opens that little valve and leaves out just a little bit of that air, that tension, and that's one of the beauties of horror. Beauties of thrillers in general is just that little bit of release and that little bit of dopamine, especially after a long day, and watching your favorite horror movies can just be enough to bring you down that, okay, I can go sleep and do tomorrow again.
Yeah,
So,
and it's funny you say that too. Like, what do you? I mean, I'll throw on any type of genre of film at night or whatever, but sometimes you could just throw on like a horror movie. Like, what do you sleep today? I was just watching Friday the 13th. I fell asleep, woke up to Jason throwing somebody out of a window. That sounds like a good sleep to me. It's like a good night. The people, and what's funny is like, it's cool how, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I guess you could say this about any fan club or community, but with horror, I can say it's like how together people are and how friendly people are. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's not your assholes, but I'll say like I'm an avid football fan as well. There's a lot more dickheads and assholes with football, but it's for different reasons than there is with the horror stuff. Again, for different reasons.
I concur 1,000%. I covered the Steelers for a long, long time as a journalist and as a fan. And my God, the Steeler fans are pretty toxic for the most part. I'm not going to lie. And of course, there are your gatekeepers. And I'll just say this, like, don't be a gatekeeper just because you like a different movie. Let the person like the other movie. You can debate it all day and you can talk about why you love it. But if you're spending all day online saying that cool movie everybody else likes is one you hate because you want to be cool, do something better with your life. Come on. Just like what you like. Let everybody else like what they like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have a reason to hate on it, that's fine. That's fine. I get that. If you have a reason to hate
it all day.
Yeah.
Don't
hate it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless
debate it all day.
Cage.
Talk about what you like and don't like. What's that?
I said, if Nicolas Cage is involved, I understand where you're coming from, 100%. Other than that,
Cage made a lot of good films.
He's a terrible person.
I'm all about like debating and having that healthy back and forth of the things you like and didn't like. It's one of the things I do for a living. So I mean, that's super cool. But if you're just sitting there going, "Oh, everyone loved Pearl, so I'm going to shit on it because everybody else likes it, and I want to be an edgelord," or I want to say, if you don't like Child's Play Part 7, then you're not a real fan. Like it's so dumb. Like just go watch what you watch.
I hate the gatekeeping thing of if you haven't seen that, you're not a horror fan. You haven't seen this. No, listen, you're not a horror fan if you don't watch horror. That's the only way you're not a horror fan. Or if you just say, hey, listen, I'm not a fan of horror, then guess what? You're not a horror fan. I don't give a shit if you're a horror fan of just one movie in the whole genre. Come on, you're welcome. I'll watch that movie with you once a year if that's what you want to do. Cool.
Yeah,
you're still a fan.
But nowadays, people get so passionate they forget that hey, this is supposed to be like stimulating in a good way when you're debating. It's supposed to help give perspective, and you stick to your guns, and that's cool. But then we kind of forget that that's all it's supposed to be, and we start leading with that passion and emotion, and we start using anger, and we start getting offended for no goddamn reason.
Start pushing people away and shit. But I am gonna spin this wheel now, gentlemen.
It's like spin the wheel.
Yes, you can keep talking though, guys. You can keep going with the conversation. I'm just seeing what we're doing for next week.
Listen, putting me on a podcast is dangerous because I can talk for hours on any subject. So.
Listen, man. That's what we gotta do on podcasts. That's another thing I love having you on here, man. It's because every time you're on here, you have a conversation. When you're on here talking about your movies and stuff, we've had people on here talking about their movies and they don't talk about their movies. It's like pulling teeth.
I don't know why that would be hard, man. For me, it's I can do it all day long.
Yeah, you would think. It's coming, people. Don't worry. It's coming.
And did you like it, Granddaughter?
I never.
Did you heed their warning and take their advice?
Jinyo Wolf Brigade.
I've never seen that.
I'm not familiar with it at all, actually.
Me neither.
So it's another anime?
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, the Wolf Brigade. I heard that one bites.
I hope it does, in a good way. Some blood, some guts, some gore, some wolf teeth.
Yep.
Some wolf teeth.
The usual. I couldn't think of what I was saying. Wolf teeth.
We love some wolf teeth. You gotta have at least 3 wolf teeth, or it's not a good movie.
Listen, sometimes that's just how it goes.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize, man. Mindbender had 0 wolf teeth. It wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
No, it didn't need wolf teeth. That was a different kind of movie. If the movie has
boobs, that's it. That's all it was missing was boobs.
That's fair. Well, I mean, I could have gotten on screen in the post credits and flashed you guys, but then it would have got -5 stars.
Oh shit, man! Oh man, this was a good time right here. Oh shit, that's too many 5s. But we will be back again next week for another animated film, and I can't wait for that. I'm really having fun with these animated movies. I can't wait to see more. I got to dive into some shows like I've told you guys before, but I do want to thank you all for being here. Jason, glad you're here, man. Thank you so much for being here and because you did mention on the episode is the only reason why I'm saying that. Not the only reason why I'm saying, but the only reason why I'm saying on the live is the best energy, the best positive energy to you with your surgery in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And come back here because you're gonna be back here. The door is always open for you, my friend. And listen, I'm expecting you at that damn draft next season. Next week. It's not next week. Next season. And I gotta get the first, maybe not the first, but the first video that's gonna be on live of you at the draft. That's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. But yeah, seriously.
At the end of the day, yeah, just thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much for the well wishes. I am a person that's very motivated, but by productivity, by giving out love, helping other people, and I can't do that until I'm healthy. So I'm going to throw everything at the wall as possible. And as I'm recovering, I'm going to lean on the horror genre to get better. I'm forced to lay on the couch for a while, which I hate, but I get to lay with horror movies. So I am a lucky person. I'm lucky that I got to be on here tonight. Thank you guys.
Oh hell yeah, man! And I'm lucky to have you on here. Happy to have you on here. And shit, while you're laying on the couch, man, if you got to text someone, we're right here. I ain't going nowhere, man. We got your back, bro.
But, yes, sir. You guys will see me again. I promise that.
Oh hell yeah! You ain't got no choice.
I'm very excited to dig deeper into your work, and I think I speak for everybody. You will definitely be in our thoughts, and rest, right. But also keep a pen and paper or a paper and whatever near you so you can write down whatever comes to mind.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And
24 hours a day.
I know for a fact once you're healed up, I know you're gonna have some wild ass story or just something that's gonna be dark and deep, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. But guys, make sure you guys
never sleeps.
Make sure you guys check out Jason's YouTube channel. The link is in the comments. We did show one of his shorts tonight, and it was awesome. You can go back. Don't even go back. Don't rewind the episode to go watch his short. Go watch his short on his channel, then watch the episode and watch it again over here with us. But seriously though, go check out Jason. Go check out Professor T, aka Uncle T, Trevor, Ambassador Media. James over with Popcorn and Pints, Worst Damn Gamer. Go check him out. And of course, come back here every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And some Fridays at 10 or 10:30 or whenever other black asses get together to play these games. You know, we're always late, but we're going to be here playing Phasmophobia tomorrow night at about 10. And again on Saturday night around 11-ish. And it's going to be a great time. See you guys next week for the pod. And again, best wishes to our guy, Jason. I'll see you in your nightmares. Peace.